Hey guys, it is Tamara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about cognitive distortions, or what's also known as thinking errors. And I want to give you a definition of what they are, and then I want to throw out some thinking errors or cognitive distortions that you may be engaging in. Everything that we've gone through in today's society can lead us to regress in some of the ways that we think and process information. So I think it's important for you to be mindful of some of the thinking errors that you may be engaging in. So thank you so much for coming back to my channel. For those who are subscribed and for those who are new to the channel, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button so that you can stick around with us and be a part of our growing and validating community. The benefits for you in today's video is that I'm going to highlight a variety of cognitive distortions, and basically these are thinking patterns that we engage in that often backfire. They never help us. When you hear the word cognitive distortions, what comes to mind for you? Do you find yourself thinking, well, it must be a way that I'm thinking that is distorted? And if that's what you're thinking, you are right. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people engage in cognitive distortions. Research suggests that while women engage in cognitive distortions a little bit more than men, it's something that we all do, and we tend to do it when our anxiety is high. Now, cognitive distortions were developed under a broad category known as CBT, and that's cognitive behavior therapy. And cognitive behavior therapy is what's known as a theoretical orientation. It's a particular mindset and worldview that therapists utilize to assist their clients. So when I see clients for trauma therapy, or I meet them for consultations, I usually come from a CBT perspective, a cognitive behavior therapy perspective. And what I'm trying to do is get that person to look at the connection between their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. I want them to look at that so that they can understand that a lot of the time, what you think has a major impact on how you're feeling and how you're behaving. That it's never really just things are happening to me. There's a thought, feeling, and behavior process. And I talk about that right up here in this video. At the end of the video, you can go ahead and click on that so you can learn a little bit more. But I often try to make the connection so that people will understand that they're not just experiencing life, that sometimes they are experiencing the emotional consequences of having a negative thought, a negative emotional reaction, and then a behavior. So cognitive distortions or thinking errors are involved in that process, and they usually have a way that they paint or taint your reality. So let's go ahead and talk about the first one. Now, with everything happening with Corona and George Floyd and the protest and the political stress and all of the chaos that we are going through, now we're going through this whole process of removing discriminatory statutes and discriminatory language, and that is motivating a certain mindset and a certain set of emotions. With all of that going on, one cognitive distortion that you may be engaging in is something known as polarization or polarized thinking. Basically, that's black or white thinking, meaning that there's always one side or another side. There's no gray matter in between, right? There's no possibility, there's no flexibility, there's no gray. It's just black and white. So you see things from an either or perspective. You don't see maybe, you don't see possibilities, you don't see question marks, you see black or white. Kind of like the law. You did it or you didn't do it, right? There's no in between. And having a polarized mindset can definitely cause stress because you're not looking at the realm of possibility, right? Let me give you an example of this. So when we're talking about the George Floyd protests, we have the protests. We have people in the protest who are really trying to make a change in our world, who are really trying to affect change and impact the way the world sees racial profiling and police brutality, So we have those group of people, but then we also have another group of people who are opportunists, right? And they are looking for an opportunity to make money and to steal and to create chaos and to be a part of something bigger than them. So all you're seeing, for this example, all you're seeing is a group of people who are rioting. Okay, that's polarized thinking. You're not looking at the possibility that maybe those people who are rioting do not characterize the whole group of people. Or maybe you're looking at just one side. You're looking at the rioters and you're not looking at the good that the protesters are doing, right? So that's polarized thinking, or polarization. You're looking at it from a black and white perspective. You're not looking at the gray. All right. The next thinking error that you might be engaging in is mental filtering. Mental filtering. And that is when you filter out a certain perspective and you favor another view. So you filter out the positivity that's going on around the world in terms of police brutality. You filter out the peaceful protesters. You filter out the protesting that has made change already. You filter out the political changes that are now being set in motion because of the protesting. You filter all of that out and you zone in on the rioters. You zone in on the things that have been stolen. You zone in on the racial tension that you're seeing, the prejudice, the discrimination, right? If you want to use Corona as an example, you zone in on the fact that we are locked inside our homes and can't get out, and you filter out the reality that we're getting to a better place. Hopefully, I say hopefully because things change every day, but you filter out the fact that you can go outside. We're not 100% trapped. So you filter all that out and you look at the negatives, okay, and you zone in on that, and that's what usually leads to anxiety and depression. All right, so polarization and mental filtering. Okay, the next cognitive distortion or thinking there is known as fortune telling. And although that sounds like a silly term, it really is used to describe your prediction of the future. So I predict in the future that we are going to have a, what's the word that I'm looking for? That we're going to have a doomsday. And the fact that we have to be on lockdown with masks says that we are leading, we're inching up to, I should say, a doomsday. Some people feel like this is the end of the world. And while I can't be sure that it isn't, some people strongly believe that it is, that it's a sign that we are getting to the end of the world. So that fortune telling, that projection that, yep, the world's gonna be ending pretty soon, can really have an impact on your mind. It can have an impact on your emotions. It can make you depressed. Okay, so that's fortune telling. Now, a little bit more of a personal perspective may be that I believe my friend is going to reject me tomorrow because I stole their car, or I, stole $1 out of their pocket, right? That is fortune telling as well. My friend is going to absolutely hate me for this. You don't know if that's the case or not. So fortune telling is predicting, and that's something that we can't do as humans. Okay, the next one is mind reading. Mind reading is being in the presence of a person and you're beginning to sense, you think you're sensing, I'll put it that way, you think you're sensing what they think of you. Right? So you're sitting, let's say, with a friend and you think that they're sensing that you're a loser, or that you have nothing going, or that, you're just dragging your feet in terms of getting married, right? So you're mind reading. You're saying, I know what you're thinking of me right now. Well, we really can't say that, can we? So to say that you believe somebody is thinking a certain thing about you may or may not be the case. And so when you're thinking that everybody else is judging you and they're really not, it really does push you up against the wall, because now you feel trapped. You feel like, well, this person sees me a certain way, so because of that, I'm either a loser, or I don't measure up, or they don't like me, or they're never going to accept me, and that in and of itself can lead to depression. Okay, so these are just a couple of thinking errors that we tend to engage in, and I'm sure you've engaged in them recently because of everything that has been going on in our world. I think it's important to be aware of these thinking errors and cognitive distortions so that you can pinpoint exactly how they are impacting you. So thank you so much for being with me today, guys, with this video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to stick around, and hit that bell button, because every time I post a video, it's going to alert you that I've posted a new video, and then that way you won't lose out on some of the videos that I post during the week. So my scheduling with my videos has been a little off lately, so that bell is going to keep you on track with me. I will see you guys on Sunday with another video, but I figured this video might be helpful to kind of squeeze in, just to kind of help you guys learn about some ways that your mind may be playing tricks on you. Some people feel like their mind plays tricks on them. I know I do when I'm stressed and tired. So hope hope this video was helpful. All right, guys, I'll see you Sunday. Bye-bye.